6 plus 3m. For young children, they have their parents, typically. And for the young part of their life, mostly. To assist, similar to the elderly in a nursing home with the caretaker. However, when children grow up to go to college and a university, when adults have chosen to inhale and exhale drugs, inject and swallow pills and substances, and neglect and once in a while hate thinking and thought, their risk for confusion and disorder and disarray go up. With children growing up to go to college, they're using their brains more. Getting tired, fatigued, studying, taking exams, writing essays and documents for professors and instructors. And also have friends. Social media accounts. 6 plus 3M provides psychological cognition. Going back to the basics and being able to and identifying, recognizing voices, people in other apartments next door, people in the house down the street, who mistake the rule of law and justice for a process, etc., with the police defunded, theoretically, in the future, and happening now. The neighbor who thumps the bass and slams the wall, crashing the concentration and the focus and the attention and heightening awareness for a mathematician, neurology student, can be heartbreaking and potentially dangerous. Making sounds and noises people do when they're communicating. And the struggle is not so much the mystery, but the evidence, the data, and especially the information, and most of all, the information. strange objects outside their door, bizarre drug paraphernalia on their shoulder. And how they never get seen, never get heard in public until they return to their dwelling. When someone's not treating their neighbor with compassion, and they don't care about those who don't want to live in a fantasy, in psychedelic hysteria. The prefrontal cortex, down at the thalamus from the staring, all over the anatomy and all the way to the skin of the body. The brutish, manly, masculine stalker who rides up and down and sweetly interacts with the loving, tender, younger woman on Boylston Avenue East. Going back to the basics, stop the process I'm describing now. For the world with no system, other than the government and the police in some parts and military over in Iran. Body, brain, and mind. Three, three, three. With the multiplication of the third 3 with the variable m. Variable for younger children and kids and babies with parents who are psychotherapists who like to teach about the self. And then the m can actually turn into 0. The m can be a negative. For those who abuse and hurt and cause pain. The most easy distraction to cause has to do with the voice, words, and language. And now the restriction of those parts of speaking and sound, noise and loudness. Not only are people distracting and causing confusion, they're misdirecting and making a person learn their dialect, their tone, with the approved accent. A simple strategy with body, brain, and mind, 3 plus 3 plus 3m equals 6 plus 3m, has to do with the ongoing practice. And then eventually there's not much work to do because all of the bullies, they end up not being able anymore to be a voyeur. They lose their target, and they're forced to put forth effort. And when there's effort exerted, there's energy used. And when there's energy used, there are requirements to enter the world and abide by the etiquette. And respect inherent with the hard work to make the world a civilization and not a tent in the woods with a stranger and a gun, a lady and a knife, and her two fathers. The process starts with the basics. Calms, relaxes, and then continues, identifying other choices, other options available now. Ready for an exam, and needing to set the alarm. Done studying for the night and too scared to walk out in the city. Where there's anarchy and anger. Pick up the video, observe, watch videos, material, and maybe a movie, or once in a while a movie. And having awareness for energy available now. Calories for tomorrow to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so forth and so on, and etc. To not be in survival. And here at Washington State, being ready for an earthquake and not having that as the reference thought and part of thinking at the edge of insanity, spending the money to buy those necessities on drugs and paraphernalia instead of receiving the benefits and calmness from preparedness now. And then the fun begins. And the math and the process with the system of psychological cognition helps, assists, and gives love. Now,